Good morning, viewers. We are here today with a very special interactive session with two of our esteemed alumni from the batch of 2021, Mr. Praveen Andhavarapu, currently working as a data analyst at ShareChat, and Mr. Harshit Anand, currently working as an associate software developer at Delta Airlines. For those of you who don't know, Harshit Bhaiya was the General Secretary of Chess, apart from also being the chairperson of IST. And so today we are going to know from the two of them how to make it in the field of data analytics or software engineering or in the IT industry in general after coming from core branches like chemical, mechanical or civil. So viewers, fasten your seatbelts for an exciting ride ahead of about an hour where you are going to get answers to questions that have been cropping up in your mind for quite some time now.
So, hello Bhaiya, hello Harshit Bhaiya, hello Praveen Bhaiya. So,
Hi, Sarek.
hello. My first question is to Harshit Bhaiya. Bhaiya, so you graduated as a chemical engineer from NIT Durgapur, started your professional career as a system engineer at TCS Innovation, and then proceeded to become an associate software developer at Delta Airlines. How was the journey, and what are some of the challenges that you faced?
Okay, so let me be, let's say, brutal honest. So I was not at all into going into the IT industry. Okay, so during our time, COVID was there, so most of the placements were happening online. So
Yes,
as
sir.
usual, I was scoring decent marks in chemical engineering, not in the toppers rank. I was always between 8 to 8.5 GPA only. So somehow I was into core chemical engineering only, and I was studying that only. So up to the December month of the fourth year, I was into core chemical engineering. But then company didn't start coming. Okay, so I was like bit worried whether the manufacturing company will come or not, because in the chemical engineering most of the companies are either research and development or manufacturing. So both were severely hit due to this COVID pandemic. So I was bit worried. So in the January, somehow Linde came, okay, and I gave the interview. So my interview was very good. Like looking at the faces of panel, I can just say that they were impressed by me, and I was hoping that I can get into the Linde, but somehow they delayed the result. And during that time, TCS Innovator profile came. I was not willing to fill that form as well, but few of my friends were filling, and when I told my mother that they are filling but I'm not, she said like, just fill it, what will happen? Okay, so just I filled the form, and first round was quite easy, so that I cleared it. Next round was related to coding. So I was damn sure that I will not get selected, because I thought like they will ask some high level questions and all. But somehow the coding questions were basic and medium level. Okay, there were two coding questions. One was basic, one was medium level. So I was doing programming since my class 12th only, because we had a course in Java there. So, and in first year also, you guys have learned C++ as well. So some of the basics I had, I knew arrays and strings, something like that. So somehow I was able to solve the first question. Second question was difficult. I was not able to solve it. But when the result came, I was selected for the interview. Then I thought, okay, let's have beginner's luck. So then come the interview round, right? So in the interview round, I was again damn sure that I will not get selected. But yeah, one more important thing, like when I sent my resume for this TCS Innovator, I changed my resume. It was not the core resume that I have prepared for Linde, Reliance, and other things. You have to be careful, like for what is your target company. So I changed my resume. So in that resume, I have not mentioned some hard and fast technologies like machine learning, blockchain, and artificial intelligence. No, because I don't know it. So I haven't mentioned those technologies. So whatever I knew, I just mentioned that only. and the interview panel was basically skimming through my resume and asking questions based on that only. So somehow I was able to defend everything that I mentioned in my resume. So whatever I knew, whatever I explained it very thoroughly. And when the final result came, I think, yeah, 9 to 10 people were selected from the whole batch, and that's how my IT career started.
Great, Bhaiya, great.
Yeah.
Actually, the
Bhaiya,
lesson.
Shayok, 1 second. Bhaiya, one question I would like to ask. In NIT Durgapur, we in final year, we all know how TCS differentiates between digital and ninja. But how do
Yeah.
they differentiate between digital and innovation? I mean, does innovation come separately or same procedure? You just have to clear another round for innovation.
No, the procedures are same. What differs
Uh,
is the money they are giving.
okay.
Yeah. And one more thing I would like to tell to the audience and all the students, like when I got selected for the TCS innovation, so basically when I was going through the TCS innovation website and all the TCS innovators that were previously selected from other colleges and institutes, so I was like, maybe I will be going into the TCS research and development. Okay, there is a separate domain of TCS in R&D. Mostly there are data scientists and researchers are there, so I thought, okay, maybe I have to work with them only. But again, let me tell you another brutal honest thing is that when you join a service based company, the project that you will get is totally random. They can give you anything.
Hmm.
Okay. So the work that a digital or a ninja person is doing, maybe I will be doing the same work. The only difference will be the amount of money that you will be getting. Okay. So that's the difference. But yeah, so same thing happened with all of us, all the 9 and 10 students that were selected. None of them joined the research and development team. Okay, all have joined the core either development team or support team. Okay, so yeah, I joined the support team. I worked on the success factor tool is there. So what they will tell you now, like, you should never go on a tool based work, because see, if you're going to a tool based work, it will always hamper your career in the longer run, because you know only that tool. Overall knowledge, you don't have anything. Okay. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
working on a tool and I was not sure, like, if I will go to any other company, I will be given that tool or not, because tool are mostly specific to a particular company. Although the tool that I was working on was not a proprietary software of TCS, it was available in the market to all other companies. So I was not sure, like, whether I should continue in that domain or not. So then I started my preparation for software development. So I gave myself 6 months to it. I started my preparation for software development, and then I resigned from TCS and I joined Delta Airlines.
So my question to Praveen Bhaiya now would be, so after graduating from chemical engineering, you started off your career as a digital marketing analyst at iQuanti, and then you proceeded to serve as a business analyst at Eat Club Brands, and finally now you're working as a data analyst in product operations at ShareChat. So Bhaiya, how was the journey, and what are some of the challenges that you faced coming from chemical engineering background?
Okay. So during the college time, placement time, I think my route and Harshit's route was same. Like we were trying to get into the chemical companies, but hey, it wasn't happened. So in frustration, I had applied for this iQuanti. This is the I think that is first or second company. I think I had applied in IT, and I went into the procedure and I got selected. So before that, everything was same, but I would like tell after like getting into iQuanti and then I switched what happened with me. I will explain it to you. I think the main important thing is there is no need of learning these kind of C, C++, Java, everything. You just need to be strong in the logic. Like let us say I know only two. like one is Google Sheets and the second one is SQL.
Oh,
But I know it in very advanced level. Like if you can give me Google Sheets, I know like I can script them. I can connect all the Google workplace. Even in SQL also, I learned it till the advanced level. So I think this should be the important thing. You should learn like you just pick two things, one or two things, Excel or Google Sheets and SQL. If you have even more time, you just pick Python. These three things would be important. I
oh.
think this would help you.
I mean, so main issue is, whatever we know, we need to know in depth. That is
Yeah,
the main
exactly.
objective.
Yeah.
So, Bhaiya, could you tell us in detail the scope of students from core branches like mechanical and chemical in software development in near future?
So IT industry does not discriminate on the basis of your degree. Okay. What matters is you have the knowledge of doing the work. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you are from chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil or metallurgy or biotechnology. If you know how to do the work, they will not discriminate. Okay, maybe you have some disadvantage of having the knowledge as compared to the computer science grad students, because apart from coding and the work, they have the core concepts of CS as well. Like you have the core concepts of chemical engineering, like you know how heat exchangers work, how everything works inside it and everything, you know, right? So that they will know, like how operating system is working, what is networking, how compilers work, and there are so many things that they will know. But those things are not used in your day-to-day practices of the work that you will be doing in the corporate. So I would say, like, yeah, initially you don't need to pay attention on everything like operating system, Linux, networking, and everything. You don't need to pay attention to that. But once you are into the IT industry, and like now you are loving it, okay, now you want to like continue your career in IT only, then yeah, you should find time and read those concepts as well, because as you grow on the ladder in the corporate world, you should know these as well, because somehow your juniors or some others will get stuck at these points. So it will be expected that you should have this knowledge. It doesn't matter like, okay, I was from chemical engineering, so I didn't know all this and all. No, these excuses should not be there. So once you are into this IT industry and you want to make your career in the IT industry in the longer run, you should just expand your domain and try to cover, uh, go in depth of every concept. Then only you can be a good engineer. It's not about being a good employee. You have to be a good engineer to perform excellently.
Okay, Bhaiya.
So, Praveen Bhaiya, my next question to you would be, could you tell us some of the tools or skills that you would advise budding chemical engineers to learn to excel in the data analytics field? I mean, I'll mention some of the ones that I know: Tableau, MySQL, Power BI, and also if you could suggest the students ways to learn SQL in less than a week, since among the three I mentioned, that's generally the one most asked in interviews.
Okay. For analytics, I think three more important things would be there. First one is the querying part, where you would write the queries and all, you would get the data. The second thing is dashboarding, where you present the data to a normal user, like to the normal people who doesn't know. Like if you take in any company, let us say if the person is from marketing, he doesn't know anything about the data points and all. He just need to be seeing the data in a good way, like let us say dashboarding and all. And the third thing would be to maintain the sheets or to maintain like MIS, it would say like the management of the data and all. So for the first thing, I would suggest you guys to learn the SQL. Like you should learn the base SQL, like a basic logic behind the SQL and all. Maybe like there are different types of SQL, like MySQL, MS SQL, and all these kinds of things. In these things, there is only like small syntax changes would be there, but other than that, everything would be same. For dashboarding, it's like your choice. You could pick Tableau and Power BI or any kind of dashboarding tool, and you can learn that. Like my better advice would be, let us say, if you are targeting for a specific company, just get to know about the company and just get to know about the tools they are using. Prepare for them. Maximum Tableau would be sufficient. Like major people use Tableau, but if the company is going with Microsoft Stack, then it would use Power BI. And the third thing
Okay,
would be
Bhaiya.
Excel or Google Sheets. Yeah. So I went with Google Sheets because it is comfortable for me, and many startups are like they work majorly on the Google Sheets. These three things would be the important thing. Other than this, if you want to learn more or if you want to go deep, then just learn pandas from Python. Okay, there is separate stack called pandas which work on the data sets and data frames and all. So you just learn that. This would be sufficient to any interview, but learn it in a very depth. Like you shouldn't learn like uh, people generally come for an interview saying that like I know SQL, but they just know select star from where things. Okay, but this is not sufficient. You should learn CTs and all these kinds of like window functions, all these kinds of things. And for learning
In
SQL in
our
one
final
week,
year interviews, Bhaiya, they mostly used to ask join about
yeah,
queries for
joins.
joining, left join, inner join, outer join. Those queries were mostly asked. And as far as the interviews that I sat in were concerned, these I mean, all of them, almost all of them asked me queries on joining.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like people generally learn like very layer level of like top layer level of SQL, and they come and say like we know SQL and all, but it won't be sufficient. You should learn deeply. Okay. And so for the logic part, I would suggest you to learn sets and relations. Like everyone would have studied that in their like plus one, plus two. Just brush up those things. Like sets and relations would be a great help. If you know them deeply, then you could easily work on SQL. Let us say example left join or right join, it would be a minus b or b minus a in sets and relations. So there are many points which you could like by learning sets and relations you could easily work on SQL. And for learning in 7 days, I would suggest you two websites like which helped me to learn SQL in 7 days. Like I myself didn't got so much time. I got only 10 days or something like that. So I just brushed up from these
Okay,
websites.
Bhaiya.
First one would be w3schools.com and the second one would be sqlju.net. These two websites are very much helpful for me. Yeah, I would suggest these two to the people.
Okay, Bhaiya.
So my question is to Harshit Bhaiya. What are some of the skills that a student needs to develop in his initial years in software development after coming from a core branch?
O- Okay, so you mean to ask, like, suppose I am into IT industry now, being from core chemical engineering, what should I
Yes,
focus on, right?
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So as I told earlier, like there are few things that we lack as compared to the CS grad students. So we need to brush up those skills. And during the placement time and during interviews, we only prepare uh, related to interviews only, commonly asked questions and other things. Okay. But now you have to go in depth. In depth means really in depth, like system design is there, how, like I am designing an application. Okay, so most probably uh, they will expect me like not to code only, like how this application will work. Okay, you have to design the whole architecture. Like let me give you an analogy. Mm, you have read plant design, right?
Yes,
Yeah, plant design. So you know where to put a heat exchanger, what pipings and everything, right? So just relate that with software engineering as well. In software engineering also, every applications have, let's say, uh, here also we use pipelines, not the same pipelines that we use in core in chemical engineering. We also have we have data pipelines here. We have different types of services there. AWS services are there. gate API gateways are there. So you should know like where to place them, which service I should use, is it optimized, what are the costs that it will take, can I use some other services which will be more effective and more optimized. So that as you grow to the senior positions, you should know these things. So I would say like in your free time, like you should just start brushing up these skills as well to grow up as a senior developer or a lead developer, and later on as a engineering manager as well.
So, Bhaiya, my next question to Praveen Bhaiya would be, which programming language would you prefer among Python, Java, and C++? I mean, we know from our immediate seniors that for interview purposes, any of the three works. But as someone who has been in the data analytics field for quite some time, I would like to ask which one, in your opinion, is the most effective among the three?
Okay, so I would suggest Python because I hadn't seen C++ and Java being used in the data analytics field or data science.
Okay,
But
Bhaiya.
Python is generally like everyone is using Python these days, even in the data analytics. Like let us say to collect the API calls or something like that, like in data analytics and all these things. Python would be very much useful. Let us say to work
Okay,
on
Bhaiya.
two different databases which were stored in two different servers. Python pandas would be used. Uh, this is an example. So on a broad picture, if you learn Python, it would be sufficient for both software development, I think Harshit could say, and both analytics also. If for analytics, Python would be great. Yeah, this is my opinion.
Okay, Bhaiya.
I would like
Uh,
to add on top of Praveen's answer, like, see, mostly C++, Java, these are used for web applications, okay, that core software
Okay, Bhaiya.
applications that you are developing.
Mhm.
But Python has a broader scope. It is used for developing web applications as well as it is used in data analysis, because it supports lots of libraries like Praveen shared pandas, NumPy, scikit libraries, and other things are there. And these are very useful in analyzing the data and used to represent the data in a pictorial format in a better way. Other programming languages does not support these kind of features. So if you are uh, like preparing for data analysis field only, you don't need to go into this C++ and Java, because these are for core coding, only coding and web applications development languages. So I don't prefer that for the data analysis purpose.
Okay, Bhaiya.
And adding
yeah,
on to that, one more thing I just want to add, like I myself follow this rule called 80-20 rule. Okay. So
Okay, Bhaiya.
let us say there is a work like X amount of work. So to do that, 80% of the work could be done with the 20% skills. For the other 20% of the work to be completed, you need to learn 80% of the skills. Okay.
Okay, Bhaiya.
So to prepare for interviews, you just no need to like you should learn like you should know about all these things, but there is no need of going like to be a professor in those things. You just need to learn basic things and important things in that could help you cross the interview. This is my opinion.
Okay, Bhaiya.
okay. Harshit Bhaiya, I went through your bio, like your CV, and it claims that you use Java, Spring Boot, MongoDB, AWS, Red Hat, OpenShift, Kafka, and Grafana for developing highly scalable and distributed systems. Could you please explain a little bit about the usage of them, like a little bit, to like let our viewers know
Yeah,
about it?
sure, Sayak. So Java, as you know, is a programming language, so I will
Yes.
not go into that. Spring Boot is a framework that I use to develop web applications. Okay, uh, because if you are developing in a simply using Java, your development will be very hard because the complexity of applications is very high in the real world. So if you want to develop a like very high complex and scalable system, then you need to use some kind of framework. So Spring Boot is the like top in the market framework for Java. Okay, so if you are using Python, you will be using Django. If you are using JavaScript, you will be using uh, Express and Node.js basically. So every language has its own framework. So Spring Boot is the topmost framework of Java, and this it is used in almost everywhere in all the companies, whether it's Microsoft or any banking companies, airlines, everywhere where they are using Java, they are using the Spring Boot only. Now coming to the what AWS. So yeah, now in my current company, so basically currently Delta is under IT transformation. Okay, so we are trying to move all our code bases from the on-prem servers to cloud. Okay, so our cloud partner is Amazon Web Services, AWS. So we are just migrating our code bases to AWS. So we are using different AWS
Okay, bhaiya.
services like EC2, we are using Lambda functions, we are using AWS Kafka as well. S3 buckets are there. So these are the AWS, lots of services, lots and lots of services. So it depends upon the applications that you are developing, that what uh, services you need to use. So that's about AWS. OpenShift we are using for containerization of application. So let me give you another analogy here. You might have seen memes over internet, like where the developer is saying it is working on my computer, but the client is saying it is not working on my computer, right? You might have seen these memes, right? So
Hmm.
containerization solves that problem. Okay. So what it does basically, consider container as a box, and in that box you have everything that is required for your software to run on any other environment. Okay. So I just containerize my application and I can give it to anyone. Okay. Irrespective of what operating system he is using, what Java version he is using, it will definitely run on his system. Okay. So that's what we are using Red Hat OpenShift for containerization. Okay. Uh, and yeah, inside another one is Kafka. So Kafka is event streaming software as a service tool. So basically, let me explain you in a very simple way. Like Kafka is a set of machines working together to handle and process real time of infinite data. Okay, so like you are watching like IPL now on Geo Cinema, right? So it's a streaming. Okay, so data comes continuously. Data is coming in small chunks. Okay, so these infinite data and real time processing happens over Kafka. So yeah, this is how far I can go in Kafka, because it's not a like Kafka session, so I won't go much deeper into that.
Okay, Bhaiya.
Uh, so, message to our viewers. Uh, this is where we come to the end of it for session one. But don't go anywhere, because session two is going to be streamed soon on our YouTube channel. Stay tuned. We are going to get back to you with session two of IT Generalist very soon.